Alright, let's get this over with. This is going to be my movie review for the... What the heck is that on my... This is going to be my review for the new Nightmare on Elm Street movie that, not really new anymore, but it came out in 2010, the remake of the classic Nightmare on Elm Street. I didn't want to do this review right now because it is it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and but I just saw it like 20 seconds ago. The movie stopped, so I figured, well, it's fresh in my brain, I might as well get this out there. I'm sorry if I'm not very easy to listen to because I have a cold and I'm overall just not excited about doing this. I am a floating head right now, and that adds to the Halloween theme. But back to the movie. The Nightmare on Elm Street remake is, for those of you who don't know the original, I'll probably already have posted a review of the original by now, but the original is about a killer who was murdered by a bunch of people, and then, long story short, he comes back and kills you in your dreams, so that when you fall asleep and you dream, he's there in your nightmare, and when you die in your nightmare, you die in real life. Gist of the story. But in this one, if you look at it as just a horror film, it's a very overly jump-scary one. There's so many jump scares that by the end of it, they're just, you've dulled to them. They're no longer make you jump. They're just like, ah. If you look at it as a remake of the Nightmare on Elm Street, it tweaks a lot of things just a little bit. It takes pretty much every little thing and edits a little bit, which is what I think is a good remake, is where it edits enough so that you still recognize that what it's referencing and what it's an homage to, but they've tweaked it so that it's new and fresh and lively. The problem is, they didn't really... I can't decide whether they went too far or too little with some of these tweakings, because it seems like some of this stuff is a little bit too blatant and too homage-y, too direct to the reference material, so doesn't feel as fresh as it could be. And probably the main complaint I have about this movie is it's very, very short and snappy and abrupt. The dream sequences are all shorter. The monologues are actually I don't know how I feel about the dialogue and monologues in this movie. It's very weird and awkward and unnecessary. Almost all of the dialogue feels like it's tacked on at the end. Nothing really seems like it's important other than carrying the information you need to understand the killer. Pretty much everything is like that. I love how I'm a floating head. That is really... Woo, look at me, I'm over here, whoa. But anyway, back to the movie. From the reference material... Sorry, I have like this weird thing on my chin, and I feel the need to itch it and poke at it and prod, and anyway, I'm loopy. But anyway, back to the Nightmare on Elm Street. Focus more on focus. But it also, I love Freddy Krueger in this movie. He is very BA. He's much more cruel and playfully cruel. Like by the time the series had ended with Freddy's Dead, he was basically a punchline. He was, look at me, ha 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 ha. He was a joke, and all of his one-liners were almost cheesy jokes, and nothing really fit with the horror franchise anymore. It was basically a comedy where he killed people, and I hated that. By the time the franchise was over, the movies were just a joke to me. They didn't fit, they were weird, and they seemed pretty put together just so they could squeeze every last dollar out of the franchise, which is what the remake is too. It's trying to take those little last drops of cash out. I love the new Freddy, because I believe that had they gotten Robert Englund again, the actor who played Freddy Krueger in all the other movies, it would have felt, and put him in this makeup, it would have felt weird and overly emphasized as a remake. It would have made it seem less like a remake had they gotten the same actor to do it again. It wouldn't have been as remake-esque. They did that with the Friday the 13th, too, the remake, which I'm kind of deciding when I'm going to... I'm not doing these in order, so I don't know whether I'm going to... I haven't yet made a review for the remake, but I might. I don't know. But anyway, they did that with him too. They changed the actor, so I don't really feel like there's any lingering pieces left behind by the original film. It's all new and fresh and reimagined. The biggest complaint I have about this movie is it's too sharp and abrupt. You don't get a real chance to let those freakish and scary moments sink in. The jump scares are overemphasized, there's too many of them, and it's all very sharp and hitting you, and it just feels like you're being punched repeatedly, jabbed at by the plot and the scare sequences. The dreams are all shorter, like I said. They kind of switched around who dreams what, and when, and why, and how, and everything. I do like the jail dream. For those of you who've seen it, that's probably one of my favorite parts in the thing is the jail sequence. I also like the idea of the micro dreams, where you fall asleep for like 2 seconds and you get that little glimpse of Freddy like whoosh, coming at you. I don't feel like they did it realistically enough, those micro naps. I think they could have really done more with that concept of you never really know whether you're asleep or awake. Like in the original one, you never know whether you're in a dream or whether you're not. In this one, they take it to a whole new level of you don't even know whether you're awake or not. You don't even know whether you're conscious. You don't know what's going on until you see your best friend suddenly has a claw as a hand, and it messes with you. Oh, now I'm not a floating head anymore. Back to lack of realization. But, it's getting a little lengthy. I don't know that I have much to say about this movie. I love the new Freddy. I think they did a good casting choice. I think if you want to see this movie, I forgot to mention the soundtrack is always a key point in most movie reviews. I think the soundtrack on this one is noteworthy. It fits it, but there's nothing about it that makes you go, whoa, the music on this is great. They also don't use any of the old original music, not even the intro. I think, if anything, they really should have used the intro music, the dun dun thing. But they do use the Freddy Krueger rhyme, but that's insignificant. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. That's in every single movie in that franchise, and it's a trademark that they just kind of slap on there to get you the, oh, this is a Friday Nightmare on Elm Street movie, as though you didn't already know that. Let's throw in that song so you're absolutely sure. Other than that, I think I'm pretty much done with this review. I give it a thumbs up, but barely. A little bit on the thumbs up side. Just because if you're a huge fan of the Nightmare on Elm Streets, then you want to see this one just because that's why I decided to watch it. It was kind of just to see what the modern generation is trying to do with these films. The way they're trying to edit it to their own liking. I mean, it's weird seeing something adapted like this where they have new technology, because in the old one they're still using wire phones, they're still on like dinosaur editing equipment and computers and stuff, whereas on this one they've got laptops, cell phones, and it adds a sort of new edge to the movie that's kind of cool. But I give it a 3 stars just because it's too abrupt, it's too fast, it's too, and also they add too much backstory to Freddy, way too much backstory. That's what was beautiful about the original one, is you didn't really know a hell okay, fine, yeah, you didn't know a hell of a lot about him. But in this one, they give him so much backstory, so much storyline, so much of this meat behind Freddy that it kind of loses his effect. Whereas in the old one, it was all dream sequences, all violence, all scare, and just a little bit of backstory behind Freddy, so you kind of know why these people are doing all this. And that's pretty much all I have to say. So see you later, peoples. I'm gonna go to bed. Bye-bye.